Grandma.
I call my grandmother Gia.
I call her Suki.
Grandma. Yeah, Grandma.
Grandma.
Nana. I think she thinks that like Granny is like kind of cute. Like I think that's her like Jenny from the Block like upgrade on Grandma.
So only my sister and I call my grandmother Gia.
It was like a Suki now, you know, so she's Suki to everybody.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart.
I haven't really heard her talk much about her life and her experience.
She instilled like mannerisms and being very poised and always putting your best foot forward.
Because my grandmother is really sure about who she is. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grandmother Project presents Pearls and Pocketbooks, our live monthly interactive webinar experience featuring Black grandmothers and granddaughters discussing love, life, and everything in between. I'm Melanie Brazil, and I am the creator of the Grandmother Project, an original 9-episode docuseries and archive, which you just watched the trailer for, now available on YouTube. Simply go to youtube.com/The Grandmother Project and click subscribe. The link will be in the chat. Last month, we celebrated the opening of Sydney Theater Company's historic production of August Wilson's Fences by chatting with Pittsburgh born and raised mother-daughter duo Gloria Hannon and Juanita Hamlin. Grandmother Gloria and her daughter Juanita took us on a journey down memory lane through Pittsburgh's historically Black Hill District around 1957. Be sure to check out episode 16, Black and Gold, on our YouTube page if you missed it, youtube.com/The Grandmother Project. Tonight, we are taking you down south to Mississippi as we chat with an accomplished musician and author who has taken on the mission of preserving the wisdom and sayings of Black grandmothers through her writing and music. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Pearls and Pocketbooks, episode 17, Wisdom. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to this evening's guest. Born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, Dana Rice comes from all-day Sundays in church waiting for the benediction and Sunday dinners at grandma's house. The moments spent with her grandmothers were full of old-fashioned sayings that left every child dazed and confused. The timeless wisdom in these sayings, however, has taken Dana from playing piano in the back of her paternal grandmother's tiny home in rural Mississippi to playing piano in film and TV. To preserve this heritage for future generations, including her own adult children, Dana has written books, including her titles, A Half-Truth Equals a Whole Lie, and You Don't Want People Talking Under Your Dress, to celebrate the wisdom of Black grandmothers. It is my pleasure to introduce you to granddaughter, mother, author, and musician, Dana Rice. Dana, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Dana. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I have to say that for as much as we complain about social media, when it works, it can truly be amazing. Because back in January of this year, you actually reached out about a different opportunity on the Grandmother Project page. And we discovered that the two of us share very similar missions to celebrate and preserve the legacies of Black grandmothers. So 5 minutes into that conversation, it was clear to me that you were meant to be a guest, and here we are.
Wow. Yeah, social media, when it works, it works.
When it works, it works. So I'm super excited to have you here. And I know that, how are we sounding out there to everybody? Let us know in the chat if we sound good. I see we already have a question, so I can't wait to get to that. Melody, we see you. We're going to answer your question. But how are we sounding in the chat? Someone give us a sounds good. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so Dana, let's get started. You were blessed to know both of your grandmothers. So tell us what it was like growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, spending time with both of them.
Man, I tell you, growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, when I did, early 70s, and it's not at all what we see in the movies. I've talked to a lot of people. It's like, oh, you from Mississippi? Oh, I just ride through there. I don't just stop. And I'm like, oh, it was amazing. We just hanging out with my cousins at my grandmother's house, and the food, the backyard barbecues, the just watching TV together, playing games, just all the things. It was full of love, and it was a place like full of great memories.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We did find someone mentioned that you might sound a little low. So if we can get you just a little bit louder, we definitely want to make sure that we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if I come
Yeah.
a little closer. I hope that's better.
Yeah, does that sound a little better, y'all? All right. We're getting some thumbs up. So Dana, growing up in Jackson, you talked about, this being the type of childhood that was full of love. And so tell us about your grandmothers. What did you call your grandmothers?
So I actually called both of them grandmama. This one is my father's mother, Angie Miggins, and I just called her grandma.
Tell us about this picture. Who's the baby? We'll get that picture back up.
So I'm the baby in the picture, and I'm guessing, believing that this is my uncle in the picture. He's like only 5 years older than me. So my dad's brother.
Do you know where you all were?
It looks like we were probably at her house. She had a farm, and just all the things, chickens running around. They were making sausage in the backyard. So, honeysuckle. You walking by the flowers and the trees and all. So, yeah, and it looks like maybe we were coming from church. Because she was really big on that, and she was a choir member and all the things. So,
Wow, that just sounds so precious. Being on the farm. Did you enjoy being on the farm, visiting the farm?
I did. We used to, shell the peas and, plant all the vegetables and stuff. And I would go, and it was just, a lot of fun. You didn't have to be careful because you had all this space to play and all this space to run around and just be a kid. So it was great. I mean, I will say some days on those shelling those peas, you're like, are we still doing this? But
I know that's right. It seems like it would be a lot of work, hard work.
it was, but those things gave us time for bonding. And we might not have known it in that moment, but that's exactly what it was, creating memories that will last forever.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about. And sometimes, like you said, you don't realize it as a kid when it's happening, but you look back on it fondly because you appreciate that time. So today is also a very special day because it's your maternal grandmother's birthday.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
Tell us about your grandmother, your other grandmother, Ruby Kenny.
So Miss Ruby, we call her sometimes. She was my favorite person in the whole world. And sometimes, we would call her Granny, and she hated that. So she was like, "Don't call me that." So we just grandmama. But she had 10 kids, and she had, I don't know, it's probably 1,000 of us grandchildren and great grands, but she had the ability to make everybody feel like they were the most special person. And so I just have great memories of feeling like, yeah, I got it going on, like I'm special if I could sit next to grandma today. So she also sang in the choir. She's a deep alto voice, and I guess with 10 kids, and a whole bunch of grands, you got to be able to have a commanding voice, and she definitely had that. She definitely had that.
Well, we've got a wonderful picture of you. I think you were around 17 or so.
I think that's about right. Yeah. So we're sitting in her dining room. There's my mom and me with my grandma, and she's probably telling us something that's got us either laughing or scratching our head. One of these sayings like what?
Yes. Oh, that's so precious. And I mean, I'm going to say, as a person whose birthday is coming up, that I know that she was awesome, because those of us that are May Taurus, we got it going on. So
Yes, she definitely had that Taurus in her. The bull. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she had it.
I know that's right. Well, because it's her birthday today. Happy heavenly birthday, Ruby Kenny. Let's put up another slide here. We have this picture that looks like it was from another birthday.
Yes.
So tell us about this. It looks like you all threw the party to end all parties on this.
Oh, they did. They went all out. I mean, she got picked up and, just pampered the whole day, like the queen that she, was and is to us. And of course, she loved all of it. My grandmother, I mean, she did not ever back away from an opportunity to get dressed up. And actually, she would, if she had no place to go, she would just sit in her bed and wear her jewelry and, say, paint my nails and all this. She didn't have to go to the nail shop. She had all of us to, give her the manicures and pedicures. And she would tell us when we were getting it wrong. And you're going to have to do that better than that, so.
I just love that. Actually, can we put that slide back up? Because I believe in one of the pictures, she's wearing a feather boa.
Yeah.
So you already know. Yes, look at that.
And this was her, my entire life. This is how she, carried herself, and she expected us all to, show up looking 100% every day, every time. Your hair had to be right, your nails had to be right, your jewelry had to be matching and working, and you had to have a bag to go with it, So, yeah.
That teaching you that pride, taking care of yourself, and that self-care, and that's so important. So you actually lived with your grandmother when you were in junior high. So what was that experience like? And did you all ever bump heads?
Every morning. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was like I was so excited because I got a chance to be around her like all the time at this time. But again, she had her standards and her way, it had to be done a certain way. And me, I want to try something new. I want to do a little different. And, so we did, kind of butt heads on those things. But it was just one of those things where no matter how upset she would get or how upset I would get, you just knew that this was love and this is the only place you wanted to be. So, yeah. Even when I moved away, I would call her and say, oh, I want to eat this today. How do I cook it? Because I didn't learn when I was at home. So, just cause she would just take the time and walk through all the steps, And she was a pretty good, who needed Food Network? Because I had her.
Listen, that is a blessing. I still don't hesitate to call my grandmother and be like, how did you say you do the cabbage again? Okay, wait. And I mean, I've been told so many different times that you would think it would be in there, but I just, and so that's the thing. I think that's really just awesome. And nobody can cook like a grandmother. So we got another picture of you also just spending time with grandmother Ruby Kenny here. Oh, this is such a great picture.
Yeah, that I had gone home for a visit at one time, and I think by this time I had kids of my own, and I don't know how we got that one moment when we could take a picture together, but I was like, "Come on, grandma, let's take a picture." And again, she always wanted to be dressed up, so she would say something like, "Now I can't be getting on a picture like this," but she got herself together. So what she knows is always an opportunity for somebody to show up with a camera. So,
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
right.
Okay. So now when me and you first chatted, you told me the most hilarious story about a time that you and your cousins came across a photo of someone, a gentleman. Can you tell us about this story? Because I think everybody think it was funny.
Oh my goodness. Now my grandmother, she was I would say a neat freak or just basically super organized. I guess with having 10 kids, you have to do that. So we were constantly cleaning and constantly organizing all the things. So one day we're going through some old papers or something in the closet and we ran across this picture. And we just started laughing at the picture. We thought the guy in the picture was the ugliest thing we ever seen, right? It was this man sitting in a chair and, it just, it was an old picture, and so we were just laughing, ha 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 ha. He was like, "Grandma, who is this ugly man?" And she said, "What are you talking about?" She got the picture. She said, "That's my daddy. Stop talking about my daddy like that." But we had never met him at all, so it was, and we were just like, and, as kids, like we were like, "Oh, you were a kid, Grandma? We didn't know," So
Yeah, and kids are just.
it was terrible. We were terrible. And,
And
yeah.
then, but you said, to think about the fact that your grandmother was once a little girl,
hmm
you know?
Yeah, that was like an interesting thought.
I bet. So, you also, again, as you mentioned, grew up not seeing her as frequently, but seeing your grandmother, Angie Miggins. We have that same picture that we like to get up. Can you tell us about your grandmother, Angie?
Okay, Angie was she might have been 5 feet tall, but and she was like an amazing cook, and she quilted. I mean, I don't even know how she had time to do all the quilting that she did. I mean, like quilts from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, she did. And like I said, she sang and all the things, but that was a little feisty lady. She was, people think of you, maybe grandmothers, maybe like prudes and all. My grandmother, she was something else. I'll just say the first time I introduced her to my husband, and he was my fiance at the time, and he's a tall guy, and so she met him and she looked, and the first thing out of her mouth is, "Oh my God, he gonna crush my baby." Grandma, you can't say that.
Ah, oh my goodness, but that's how she was. Listen, she said, "I say it like it is."
Yeah. And
So you told a story that I thought was so sweet when we were just getting, when I was pre-interviewing you, as you will, talking earlier, and you mentioned the story about a time that you and your cousins asked grandmother, I believe your grandmother Angie Miggins, and your grandfather to do something. Can you tell us about that story?
oh, now that was actually the other set of
Oh,
grandparents.
so that was the other grandmother. Okay.
But now Angie and Charles, that was my grandfather. We didn't have to ask them. They was always lovey-dovey, sitting all close and everything. So we never had to ask them. But my other grandparents, we like, they weren't like all the time all up on each other for we know, but they did have 10 kids. I'm just saying. But so yeah, one Christmas, I think it was some holiday, we were all gathered and little kids again, just doing stuff. And we decided that they were going to kiss that day because we've never seen them do it. And so we're like, "Oh, come on, granddaddy, kiss her, kiss her, kiss her. Come on, you gonna do it." And they look like, "What?" And to our shock and surprise, they actually did it for us. Like that. And that's probably like the only time I ever seen them do that. But yeah, we that's the thing. They were these like for real adults, very serious when need be, but they could tap into their inner kid. They would just play with us. Now we knew when they weren't playing, but they did, but they did, indulge us as children.
That's wonderful. And so, it's clear, from talking with you, Dana, that your grandmothers have had such an impact on you, and so much so that you actually wrote and compiled 2 books of Black grandmother sayings. A half truth equals a whole lie. I got my copy. And you don't want people talking under your dress. I'm also rocking the shirt for a half truth.
I see you. It looks good on you.
Yes. So what inspired you to write these books? Tell us about that process.
Well, I'm a mom. I have 2 young adults, and in my mind, they've been right there with me the whole time, but that's just in my mind. So I'm thinking they've learned all the things I've learned. They've heard all the stuff I've heard. And I think I found myself maybe, spouting off some of these sayings, and I saw the blank look on their face. I'm like, "What, don't you know?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" They had the same look I had when I was a kid. And I just got to thinking, how are they going to know these things if we just keep assuming that they do? And I thought, well, they're not the only ones who don't know these things. At least, I'm in here spouting these things off. What if someone isn't around that? So there needs to be a way to connect the generations so that we, keep the history, keep the legacy, and the lessons that come from this wisdom. Because I use them every day in my life. And I know for a fact that this is valuable for your life. And so I wanted to be able to give this to other generations, and because it brings up great memories for, people my age and older. So just to have that also, and it's a great conversation starter, I think.
I think it's wonderful. And I do want to put up a slide of both titles just so that our audience can see them. We have a slide featuring both books just so that people can see. And that's a half truth equals a whole lie, and you don't want people talking under your dress. So let's see, we're going to get that up in no time. But I just think that this is so amazing. And that's what I mean by me and you shared this desire to preserve this legacy, because that is also what Pearls and Pocketbooks is about, and the Grandmother Project is about. And I think we can't have too much. I truly want the world to know our grandmothers' names, because I feel like Black grandmothers are just amazing. And here we are. Oh, great. We've got this slide here. This is actually how to purchase. And we'll put this up later, but we've got both titles here for those of you looking. Half truth equals a whole lie, and you don't want people talking under your dress. So I have copies of both books, and most of the phrases I was like somewhat familiar with, but then there were some that I'm like, had me scratching my head a little bit. So one of them that I just had to ask you was, a still tongue makes a wise head. What does that mean?
Keep your mouth shut. Basically, like you can, if we're listening, we can't listen and talk at the same time. So when we have a still tongue, it's not moving. That means we can listen, and we're learning. We can observe and really take in things. And there's the wisdom, because now you've got some information you can use. So yeah, that one.
That is definitely, that's one that I need to do. I like to talk, and then sometimes I need to be able to listen. So that's a good phrase for me. Thank you for breaking that down, Dana. We do have a question. Is it on Audible? And I believe it is. Or is it?
It is not on Audible, but
Kindle.
there is an audio version of it on my website. The audio version is on my website, danaricemusic.com.
Okay, so danaricemusic.com. You can get an audio version. I purchased my copy of A Half Truth Equals a Whole Lie, as well as You Don't Want People Talking Under Your Dress, on Amazon as well, just to let everybody know. So we have, yes, so we actually have, let's see. Oh, for those of you that are watching in the chat, if there are phrases that your grandmother used to use, I want you to put them in the chat. We'll revisit it later on in this program, but put it in the chat because I know that we all have those old school phrases. So if you're watching out there and there's a phrase that your grandmother used to say, put it in the chat. So Dana, in addition to being an author, you are a singer and a musician, which is also, like I mentioned, a wonderful thing that we share in common. And one feature of your books that I was blown away by, that make them incredibly special, is that there are original songs that accompany many of the quotes and sections of your books. So first, I want to ask you, how did you decide to incorporate music and sound into your writing?
Well, music, it's been said, if you want to remember something, put it in a song. You'll never forget it. There are songs that we've heard 30 years ago that we still know. And so I thought, how can we preserve these things? Let's put some music on it. And so that's how I came up with the idea to do it. And of course, music makes everything better, right?
It really does. And like I mentioned, I'm just so blown away because I think it's such a great way of reinforcing these quotes when you can hear it and you can hear voice. And so with that, because you are an amazing singer, can you give us a snippet of one of the songs?
Sure.
So tell us which song we'll hear a snippet of.
So as a child, I was always, and as a teenager too, always looking for a shortcut, because I don't want to spend all the time trying to do the thing. Let's give me the shortcut so I can get it done, so I can get on and do what I got to do. So there's a song called Shortcuts, and it shares grandma's thoughts on what happens when you take shortcuts.
All right, so let's cue up Shortcuts.
The furthest way around is the shortest.
50 steps will have you finished. Last real fast. You think you found a shortcut? Well, I got news for you.
The furthest way around is the shortest.
Hear the news, hear the news, hear the news, hear the news, hear the news. It's on. Hear the news, hear the news, hear the news.
The furthest way around is the shortest.
Yes, that was amazing.
Thank you. I'm so glad you like it. That one is actually a saying that I got from a friend's grandmother. Because part of what I wanted to do in the books is to celebrate all Black grandmothers. And in my community growing up, my friend's grandmother was my grandmother too. We just all called them all grandmothers. So just another way to highlight all the Black grandmothers.
I think it's just absolutely amazing. And to your point, I think about, my best friend's grandmother and how she was so much a part of my childhood. Her room was in the basement, and that's where we would come in and out the house. So we put on our little outfits and try to sneak past her room. And she would always be like, come back here, Melanie. Come back. Let me see what you got on.
Right.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, and you're watching. Hey, friend. Yes. Granny. Oh my goodness. I speak your name. Odessa Grant. Yes. Oh my goodness. Just the memories of like you said, we're all so connected, and their family is your family. Mm-hmm. So do you see yourself in any of your grandmothers? Do you see a little bit of you in them?
I hope so. I mean, when I look in the mirror, I see both of them on different days, different times, different situations, or I might hear them when I say something a certain way. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's in there. And so sometimes it's a little jarring, but usually it's like, oh man, I ain't too far off. If I'm a little bit like them, I'm winning.
I know that's right. So sort of the opposite end of that question, Are there any lessons that you wish to unlearn from your grandmothers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not thinking about the unlearning, but yes, there are some things that, because we only have the information we have at the moment. Um, what do I need to unlearn? My one grandmother, again, like the cleaning, in her mind, cleanliness is next to godliness. And I do believe it. But, I don't think I got to like stop my whole life so I could clean, all the time. And I do have to tell myself that because the people that live with me, my family, they're like, are you serious? It looks fine right now. And I'm like, no, I gotta, So they have to help me balance. I think I need balance. Yeah. Um, yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
all
pretty
about that
sure
balance.
that when we've talked before, I've mentioned something that I wanted to unlearn and it's escaping me right now. But
Yeah, talking about sort of like those traditions. Like I know that sometimes with the different grandkids, you might have one expectation for the boys, one for the girls, that kind of thing.
yes. So there is that one thing. So there I have a boy cousin who, well, actually when I was little, like I'm the oldest granddaughter and there was all these boys. And so again, the cleaning thing, everybody had to clean and all that. But the boy was able to just go outside and play, and the girl had to stay inside all the time. And so I find myself, even in my adult life, like I am in this house all the time. My neighbors are like, do you still live in there? So I was like, it's a habit. I need to break it. I need to get out more. But yeah, we do have to kind of watch that because I get it, like there's a different thing that comes with, girls being out versus boys being out, but boys been out, somebody's daughter is out there, so yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. There are those things like, right? Like generally, most of those lessons are positive, but then, like you said, they do what's best for them at the time. And as we know more, and as we know to do differently, we make those adjustments. And so I think it's always good to reflect on like what to sort of keep and what we maybe can evolve past or move into. So I think that's
Now,
a good point.
yeah, speaking of evolving, I will say so. I'm again like the oldest granddaughter, but there's like two sets of grandkids. So like there's the older grandkids and there's the younger grandkids. And I've heard my younger cousins say that, they've seen our grandmother evolve over the years. Like you never stop growing. And so there are some things like sometimes I look at them, I'm like, you said what? You did what with grandma? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm scared to death because it wasn't that way before. But, it's the evolving. And so that was a lesson all by itself. Like, never stop growing, never stop learning.
Yes, absolutely. And to that point, and talking about the evolution in the younger grandkids, why do you think it's important to pass this knowledge down to younger generations? Why is that important?
Well, because each generation has, a different set of circumstances, but there are struggles in every generation. And so you got to have tools to help you get through those things. You got to have tools to help you to just manage your life. And these sayings are really important for that, but also to know that this is your heritage. Other people get highlighted, but often Black women don't. And so that can trickle down into thinking that we have nothing to offer. Everything is coming from the outside, but we need to know there are indigenous ways of knowing. You don't get everything in the academy or school. The home knowledge is just as valuable, and in some situations even more valuable. So we need to know that we have it within us because of, we're in this bloodline of, these people. And so that's, those are reasons why I think it's just critical that we don't let these things leave our memory. I haven't been able to look at the chat, but I know that some of my family are here, so I hope that I'm representing y'all well. And definitely hugs to everybody on this special day for us. Thank you, cousins. I see you. Thank you, sister. I see you as well. And aunts, thank you so much. Yeah, so just talking more about the reason why. One of the things is I wanted to make sure that we have a bio for our grandmothers. Too many times when it comes to Black women, Black people, basically, we don't have bios. We never know about the person until there's an obituary. And so this is one of my small ways of trying to kind of remedy that a little bit. Start thinking about what are the skills that our grandmothers bring, things that, like they don't have a resume sometimes, but absolutely they do. They are logistics experts. I know my maternal grandmother with the 10 kids. I mean, you got to be an expert in logistics in order to make that work. Yeah, so it's one of the reasons why it's important is for self-preservation. We've got to know that we have survival skills, else we wouldn't even be here. And so we've got to know that this is a part of, it's in our bones, it's in our blood. And that just, when you feel good about yourself on the inside, it translates to the outside. So that's one of the reasons. I think that's like the biggest reason in my mind why we need to know it, but definitely because they're not just crazy sayings. I mean, why go through, trying to figure something out when you got a guide right here?
Absolutely. And that is really, that's that shortcut. And, and that's really, like I mentioned, that's the impetus. That was the motivation behind the Grandmother Project was we have young women trying to find our way. And there are these elders that have this knowledge who've done it, who've lived it. And so we have a special opportunity to connect with elders to get this knowledge, indigenous knowledge, as you mentioned earlier, that is going to carry us through. So I really, really appreciate that. So as we wrap up, can you describe your grandmother, Angie, in one word?
Feisty.
Feisty. Now, can you describe your grandmother, Ruby, in one word?
Feisty.
So you got it on both sides. So and speaking of feisty, especially for grandmother Ruby, can we put up we've got some slides here that I think really show that actually. So let's get up those slides. We got one where she's hanging with her girls. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yes, somebody told me that you got to have a membership to be in the Red Hat Society. I said, well, I don't think that. I think they just put on red hats because they wanted to.
They look good. Oh, that picture is a classic. And we've got two more pictures here also from the family. So, you talked about how your mom has 9 siblings. And I think we've got a picture from your grandmother Ruby's birthday party, which again, her birthday being May 1st. So let's put up those pictures as well.
There they are. So there's 9 of them in this picture. And of course, my mother's the one that's not in the picture. So I'm saying she probably took the picture, but I could be dead wrong about that. But these are all her kids.
That's precious. And then we've got one more.
Yeah, and everybody's here with us. So
that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Let's get up that last slide.
This is my cousins and some of their kids and at the party. Yeah. So
classic. These are those classic memories that you go back to, and those pictures become so important. So now, we've got some phrases in the chat. We got some good ones, Dana. I think you're gonna like this. So we've got Demara Hamlin Bond, who says, you have to pay the cost to be the boss.
Oh, yes.
You know that's right. And we've got some shout outs. Jess Neal says, proud of you, sister. You're doing great. Melody Jones. Hi, Dana. I'm enjoying this so much. Your lovely Aunt Mona. We've got, Melody Jones also told us a hard head makes a
Soft behind. Yes, we all had soft behinds at some point. Oh my God.
That's what my dad would say all the time. A hard head makes a soft behind. We've got, this is a good one from Allison. It's a po dog that won't wag his own tail. All right.
Yes.
We've got, we answered that question about, here we go. I remember when I would ask Mama, so that's my great grandmother. This is my aunt that's saying this. And she go, what you doing, Mama? And she'd respond, minding my own business and leaving yours alone. That's a good one. Cheryl Rutherford says according to her grandmother used to say, don't hang with fast tail girls because you don't want me to find out. And we've heard all about fast tails being with the grandmothers. And here's one from Willa Watson. It's a poor wind that never changes. Oh, these are good.
Okay, Auntie. That's my aunt.
All right. These are good, right? So Dana, and here was one from Court Watson. An empty wagon makes a lot of noise.
Yes.
These are wonderful. Thank you all for being in the chat. We love the interaction. It's awesome. So Dana, you mentioned that these books were intended to share Black grandmother wisdom with the younger generation. So we have got two members of the younger generation that are with us today. And let's see. We definitely have one member. And let me see. We're going to upgrade now, Tori, Court Watson. And Michaela, if you're there, put something in the chat for us. Let's see. Hopefully we didn't. Now, there's Michaela. Wonderful. So we're going to upgrade Michaela and Court. And they're going to play the Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up show.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Court.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good. And let's see, we got Michaela here as well. Hi, Michaela.
Hello.
So, welcome to the show. You both are representing the younger generation. We are going to play the Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up show. We're going to see how many of these old school phrases you are familiar with. All right. So, dig deep. And we're going to put up those first slides. And I believe we're going to start with, let's see. Okay, so this is the Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up show. All right. So without further ado, our first question is going to be for, let me see here. Let's see. I think we have Michaela first. So Michaela, I'm going to read a phrase and you are going to do your best to tell us what it means. So you're first. We've got, you don't beat the drum with one finger. What do you think it means?
I'm trying to, I guess put your best foot forward. Like, don't halfway do something. You need to do it fully.
All right, Dana, Dana is the expert. Dana.
So that's a good try, Michaela. So you don't beat the drum with one finger. And it's like, get help. You know, what you're trying to do, it can be done better or easier if you get help from others.
So it's about working as a team. You don't just do it by yourself. You get help. All right. Okay, Court. So Court, you're up next. Next question. And great job, Michaela. Next question. Let's see here. Here's a good one. God assigns his biggest fights to his strongest warriors. And this is from Mamie Crutchfield, known as Big Ma, grandmother of coach and actress. Is it Jonna Johnson? Okay, so Court, what do you think this means?
This one seems pretty self-explanatory. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just think it means that you're gonna endure some things, and the more you endure, the stronger you become.
Dana, what do you think?
I like it. I like it.
Good explanation. All right, Court. Okay. So we're gonna go next question. Michaela, you ready?
We'll see.
Okay. So here is your question. It's not what you do, but how you do it.
That's kind of self-explanatory. It's not about, I'm trying to think. How you do it says a lot. So it's the message behind how you do stuff or how it's delivered is what really matters instead of what you're actually doing.
Dana? Yeah, okay. All right, Michaela. Listen, the younger generation, the kids are all right, okay? The younger generation knows what's up. All right, next question. Ooh, okay, Court. Now this one, I know. We threw a challenging one at you. This is from Grandmother Angie Miggins. You don't want people talking under your dress. Take your best guess.
Actually, I have this one because when I read Dana's book, I had to ask my mom what this meant. So I actually have this one down. So it basically means it means like you don't really want I'm trying to figure out how she phrased it to where I can say it on here. It's basically, I think I would say this about teaching men how to respect you as a woman. That would be my best definition of it. Just carrying yourself in a way that people know how to treat you.
Yes.
All right, Court, you better navigate. That's it. That was great. Okay. The kids are all right, y'all. Okay, next quote. Now, this is a good one. Okay, don't let somebody else take out your trash. Michaela, what do you think this one means? And that's Michaela, this is from your great grandmother.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's from my great grandmother. Don't let somebody take out your trash. You handle your own business. You keep everything inside your household. What's going on in the house stays in the house, and you handle it internally. You don't want outside people in your business.
Dana?
I like that perspective. I didn't know about that perspective, but it works. It works in my mind. But I will say, when I was putting the book together, and your mom, Michaela, told me this one, it was told to her in relation to relationships. So if you're having trouble with your person, your spouse, your boyfriend, whatever, make sure that you know you're done with them. Basically, if you say you're upset, you don't gotta weigh how upset are you, because there's always somebody around the corner ready to take them in. So that's the way it was told to me. But I do like what you said. Can you say that again? Because I need to add that to my thought.
Handle your, like, whatever business is going on inside your house, handle it inside your house internally. Don't let other people, outside people, handle inside business.
I think it works.
I do think it works. And also, keeping your kind of relationship business, understanding that somebody might be waiting in the wings. That's awesome. And we just celebrate Grandma Queen's wisdom on that one, because that is sage advice. All right, we got a couple more, y'all. And are you all playing along at home? Taking your best guess. So if you all play along at home, now I know people know this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Court, this is all you. Grandmother Ruby Kenny. Court, what you think?
That's right. Is several ways to get it out done. You don't have to do it just one particular way. Like my grandmother would have one way to do things, and with me being an adult now, I know how to do that particular thing in my own kind of way.
All right, Dana.
I love it. That's exactly right.
The knowledge is being passed on. They have read the books.
I'm loving that.
You know, Court said, I can't prepare. Because see, when I got the book, this is awesome. And Michaela doing Michaela's thing. All right, next quote. Ooh, now this one. This is a good one. This is one. We got Odell Maxey, Mississippi grandmother provided this one. And I know you all out there might have heard this one. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. Now, what do you think about this one, Michaela?
The one that does the most talking gets the most attention.
What do you think, Dana?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right.
And Dana has a song as well. You have a song for this one. Oh, and Melody Jones says, basically, a closed mouth don't get fed.
Yep.
You gotta open up, you gotta speak up, gotta advocate. Love it. Great job, Michaela. All right, we are moving right along. We got a couple more. Court. Ooh, this is a good one. Watch as well as pray.
Basically, you gotta pay attention. You can pray, but you're gonna have to pay attention to what's going on.
Uh-oh, Court. I think we're having some sound difficulty, Court. How about try turning off your camera briefly and turning it back on. Court. Now turn your camera back on and just stay really still. This is a trick that I've learned for Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, we got you. Okay, now try to talk.
Can you hear me?
Wow.
Oh, I learned something new.
Stay real still. Stay real still though.
Okay, so basically just watch, pay attention to what's going on. But I would also add that you have to do the work along with the prayer.
So I think you said doing the work along with the prayer and watching with the prayer. Yes. All right, Dana, what you think?
Yeah, that makes me think about faith without works is dead. So yeah, you gotta watch. Yeah, watch as well as pray.
All right, that's a good one. That's one that I learned through your book. All right, two more, y'all. Two more. Michaela, this is all you. Every shut eye ain't sleep.
There's always somebody watching.
Watching me. Yes, yes, there's always somebody watching.
Nailed it. Come on, Michaela. Isn't that a good one? Okay, Dominique says, oh, I like that one. Listen, it's always somebody watching. Every shut eye. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right, last one. Court. Can't, never did, and never will.
Don't say what you can't do. If you say you can't do it, then you can't. And you never will.
And y'all, I'm so encouraged by this. Dana, what about you?
I'm saying yes, yes.
Michaela and Court, I want to thank you for popping on and playing the Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up show. Thank you for being such good sports. It has been a blast. We're going to say bye to you now, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So Dana, I just want to say, first of all, thank you again to Michaela and Court for being such great sports.
Thank you.
For all of you out there, we've got one final slide here. If you want to get a copy of Dana's book, A Half Truth Equals a Whole Lie, and you don't want people talking under your dress, you can check it out on Amazon. You can listen to it. There's a soundtrack that you can find on YouTube. follow Dana on Instagram. Dana, are there any other ways that people can support?
Join my mailing list at danaricemusic.com.
danaricemusic.com.
danaricemusic.com, and there's a bunch of goodies there. And today there's the whole soundtrack from the books is only $5. It's half off. So
all right, y'all. So get in there and support while it's only $5. Certainly, we have just had a blast, Dana. I just want to say, I also want to take this time to shout out some very special thank yous. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and being patient during this Pearls and Pocketbooks episode 17, Wisdom. Of course, Dana, I want to thank you. I also want to acknowledge our winner, our 30th registrant, Bernadine L. from Georgia, who won a copy of A Half Truth Equals a Whole Lie. Your copy will be in the mail tomorrow. I'd also like to thank Yvonne Parker, Cassandra Brazil, Paris Nesbitt, and of course, our wonderful engineer, Tori Parham, who has been doing all the technical aspects of today. Thank you so much, Tori. Many of you out there have asked how you can support the Grandmother Project. So right now, you can subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/The Grandmother Project. You can follow us on Instagram, The Grandmother Project, and you can stay tuned for a very special message of how you can support the Grandmother Project and our work, this labor of love for Pearls and Pocketbooks. So Dana, thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been wonderful. For all of you out there, stay tuned. Thank you, Dana. Oh, we've got a couple of quotes. We want to hang on, Dana. We have, thank you, Willa, for your comments. Janice, thank you. Love the session. Great Zoom. Thank you so much, Damara. Thank you, Jess, who says you rock, sister. Court, thank you, Court. This was fun. You were amazing, Court. Patricia says, enjoyed your show and Dana's interview. Love, Aunt Pat. Great job, Sherry Hester. Thank you. This has been awesome, and I'm enjoying my books. That's from Ramona Jones. And and another wonderful show. Love the show. That's from my grandmother. Hi, Gia. So Dana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Stay tuned for how you can support the Grandmother Project. Stay tuned. Here we go.
Supporting the Grandmother Project is easy. Simply go to www.grandmotherprojectseries.com and click Donate. You'll be directed to our PayPal page, where you can enter an amount to help support the creation of new episodes and content. Be sure to like and subscribe to our page on YouTube and follow us on social media. See you next month on the next Pearls and Pocketbooks.